Can you tell us more about you? Who are you, Melten?
My name is Marcus, and my current job, I'm working as an AI artist for a game studio.
Okay.
We're working on what can be considered a AAA game, and it's pretty dope. Actually, I might be one of the first AI artists working for a company of this size, and it's something that I'm really proud of. The work that I'm doing there and the work that everyone is doing as well. And there's not much about me besides, I love art. I've always liked art ever since I was a kid. I've been drawing for a very long time. And before, finding AI, I was working as a brand designer.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I found out about AI and what we could do with it, I was just like, okay, I gotta go, do a super deep dive on this and focus on this, because it's gonna be the future, whether we like it or not. It's gonna be everywhere. And yeah, and right now I have my Melten account, as well, you know me from there. And yeah, it started like as an outlet to relieve some anxiety, actually. And because when I started playing with Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, creating these characters, I would always feel a lot more relaxed, and I would just be able to focus on that. And one thing led to the other, and here we are. It's for a game called Ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game similar to games like Apex Legends.
Okay.
It has the same basic idea, though we are more event based. So the game, it's constantly changing, so you have to adapt. That's why we call it an adaptation shooter. So
Mm-hmm.
every match it's going to be different depending on which areas are available to you. And right now my main work is helping the other concept artists come up with ideas, because sometimes we might be looking for something that doesn't really exist, and with AI we can create a lot of those things extremely fast. And that's what I've been doing a lot.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a lot of that, creating stuff that doesn't really exist, and because we do it so fast, we can just come up with things that help them. And sometimes it's just like we have some wild ideas that we want to see, like a character of ours, but with some specific, not very specific, but something like some details, like a very specific kind of suit that is super hard to make. Not super hard, but it takes a long time to make. So I can just go in and create several concepts, so that people can get an idea, and to see if it's worth actually creating a normal concept art of the character, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a lot of that kind of work, at least right now. It's gonna change as we as AI develops and as you can do more and more, but yeah.
Can you tell us more about your creative process and what AI software are you using?
Yeah, so usually I'm trying to make a character look sexy, but not overly sexualized. Sometimes I'll make one of those if I look at the character and it makes sense, but usually it's a bit just a bit sexual, a bit sexy, but I tend not to overdo it. But usually I'll go with an idea of a character. I'll just, like, for example, with Chun-Li, I'm like, okay, I want to make a character based on Chun-Li, and the prompts that I use these days are pretty chaotic, because I will use also a lot of my images as style reference, which is something that we can do now with Midjourney. So I have a bunch of images that I made in the past, and I like them a lot, so I'll just keep reusing them as a style reference and then start tweaking the prompt a bit here and there. But usually the prompts are chaotic because of the style reference. I don't need the prompts to be, overly, overly pretty with everything in its place, because sometimes the chaos will bring you some cool stuff. And in my case, I'm not looking for a perfect image from Midjourney, because I'm gonna edit the image anyway in Stable Diffusion and Photoshop, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. Other people, they like to, spend thousands, and not thousands, but spend a lot of time trying to create a perfect image, which is not gonna happen, right? You're not gonna get the perfect image. And I'm just looking for certain details, like the hair in a certain way, a specific style of clothing. And sometimes I'll just generate 3 or 4 images in Midjourney, and then I'll start picking details from one to the other, and blend it all in Photoshop, and then start editing with Stable Diffusion and Photoshop, go back and forth. But yeah, I usually start with a very basic idea. I want this character, I want to make this character sexy, and then do I want a background? Most of the times I don't like to add a background. I'm just something super simple, and just focus on the character and not the background around it.
We noticed that you often talk about Remix AI. Can you tell us more about it?
Okay, so Remix AI, it's one of my partners, and it's a social media platform around AI, which is something that I wish something like X would be, but I don't think they're leaning towards allowing people to create images, even though there's talks about Midjourney and partnering with X. But we'll see about that. But Remix, I think it's pretty amazing, because you have the ability to create amazing art with AI and then share it in one single place, and they keep adding new features, and it feels pretty good to be there. Just the ability to create your images in one single place and then share them with other people in the same place, it's pretty amazing.
How do you manage your social strategy?
Yeah, with Twitter, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because you need to engage with other people, right? It's called a social network for a reason. But the problem with Twitter right now, with the way the algorithm works, is that if you engage with the wrong person, and when I say wrong person, it might be a super new account or a very old account that has a bad reputation.
Yeah,
there's a lot of factors that you really cannot not find, but it's a lot of factors that can make your engagement go super wrong. Because, like I said, if you talk with the wrong person or with the wrong account, you might suffer because of that. But my strategy is to engage with people, but do it in a very moderate way. Don't spam people, don't be toxic. Like, it's cool to criticize other people's content, but do it in a polite way. Give some constructive criticism, but use common sense, don't spam people. But above all, when you share your stuff, it needs to be something unique, because everyone can use Midjourney, everyone can create a pretty picture, but if that's all that you're sharing, like, there's thousands and thousands of other accounts there. So if you really want to grow your account, you need to be a social person. You need to be a nice person, right? Though even being toxic sometimes helps, but you need to make that your own personality, and always be kind of toxic, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like, be original as much as possible. Even just adding a filter to your creations and being super consistent about the editing style, it will help a lot. But yeah, from my opinion, it's mostly that, be consistent, create something that's unique to you, and be a nice person.
And for example, so you're using Discord, Twitter, but maybe you're using so Remix AI, of course. Now it's a social network as well. But are you using Instagram as well, or are you really multi-channel?
I'm using, so mostly it's Remix and X or Twitter,
Yeah.
and then I've branched out to Instagram. But Instagram, I'm not sure how it works. I'm mainly using as an archive.
Mhm.
So I've actually hired my younger brother to to take care of the other social networks.
Okay.
In this case, it's Pinterest and Instagram. And I'm in a position that I can actually pay him to do those jobs, and so I can focus on Remix and X.
And you create.
Yeah, and I have my work, my 9 to 5, and then I also want to create stuff for X, so I can focus on being creative. And yeah, on Instagram, it's not growing that well, but on Pinterest, because of the way that it works, it's slowly ramping up.
Oh, so you do Pinterest as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
interesting.
Pinterest, it's different from X. From my understanding, it's like the older content will slowly ramp up in impressions, if people like it, of course. And newer content, it takes time. It's not like X, because X, if the post doesn't do well in the first hour, it's probably dead.
Yeah.
And on Pinterest, no, it's it's like more a snowball effect, I guess. And yeah, we're doing decently well there. The number of impressions have risen like 3,000% over the last 2 months.
Okay.
So I'm pretty happy about it. My brother is actually doing a pretty good job in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's it's slow, but if you're trying to grow your social accounts and try to actually make money from these, you need to expand your platforms. Like it's like the old saying, don't place all your eggs in the same basket or in one basket. So just spread your stuff around. You don't really need to be super active, replying to everyone on the other accounts, but just have a presence there. And if you have a presence there, it's it goes a long way.
Do you have any other artists to recommend?
For artists, like you already had Sino here, and Kuron Echo as well. Like, let me just say, I'm extremely bad with remember people's names. So, but if I had to say, like a couple of them would be those two, and then one called Fred, which is a great friend of mine that I've met through AI. Yeah, Fred. Fred Fresh, yeah, and AI Cyber Dreams.
He's doing a very good job.
Yeah, and it's those four: Sino, Kuro, Fred, and AI Cyber Dreams. Those four are my main inspirations. Even though the last two, like Fred and Cyber, they don't do the same kind of stuff that I do, but they mostly do like mechas in the case of Cyber Dreams, and Night in the case of Fred. But there's always something there that inspires you to make something, and I really like that. And Sino, with his more manga style, I like the colors, always pretty good colors that always pop, always give me some ideas as well. And Kuro does something very similar to me, and there's like always a lot of cool stuff there. So
Thank you for your time, Melten. I wish you a very good day.